Good Saturday evening. Meteorologist Jordan Young with you. We had a few severe thunderstorms today, but there's a better chance of severe weather as we move into your Sunday. A powerful cold front will be moving across the Carolinas, and there is an enhanced risk of severe weather in the mountains, foothills, and Piedmont of North Carolina tomorrow, and nearly everyone in the Carolinas is under a slight risk of severe storms tomorrow. So exactly what is happening and what time are we looking for this to occur? I'm going to pull up right now the upper level energy maps, and you can see that our upper level energy is currently over the central part of the United States, and this is at Sunday morning. And as we move through the morning hours to around 8 o'clock, notice how this area of low pressure has now moved towards Mississippi, and notice all of this energy and moisture streaming northward. This continues into the afternoon hours, and this is when we'll have our best chance to see the severe thunderstorms, and that chance continues through the overnight hours as this big piece of energy rotates through the Carolinas. So there's a lot of energy in the atmosphere. Here's your futurecast radar, which shows you kind of what to expect. This is looking at 2 a.m. and this is on Sunday morning at 2 a.m. and notice how the showers and thunderstorms are still well back to the west. There may be a few showers and storms in the mountains early in the morning hours, but as we progress through the morning hours, this is now 8 a.m. Notice how that line is really marching right through Tennessee, stretching through Alabama, and it's about ready to enter Georgia. As we move, this is now lunchtime. Notice how the line may weaken a little bit, but I'm not sure if the model is exactly following the upper level dynamics. There is a lot of energy with this system. So then I'm expecting those showers and storms and possibly severe storms to really begin to organize over the mountains around lunch and then move on towards the east around the 3-4 o'clock time frame. This is 5 o'clock, and notice some of these severe storms that are expected. These are individual cells out in front of a second developing line right along the cold front. These could be the ones that could cause some damaging wind, large hails, and even isolated tornadoes are possible as this line progresses. And then as we move into the overnight hours, notice how we're still getting a lot of storms around the area even through the overnight hours, and it continues all the way into the coastal plain until very early Monday morning. This is actually Monday morning at 4 a.m. and notice how there is a lot of storms around the Outer Banks around this time. But then notice there's actually could be a few mountain snow showers wrapping around the system, a very dynamic system, and that is why we are really worried about this severe weather threat. So let's pull up and let's look at some of the severe weather parameters, if you will, that might be causing some of these really strong and severe storms to develop. As you can see, this is looking at bulk shear. This is how much shear is in the atmosphere, and you can see that this really begins to increase in numbers as we move into the afternoon hours. Let's go back one frame. This is at 4 o'clock, and notice the amount of shear located right over the Carolinas as this system continues moving. This really helps to increase the damaging wind threat and the tornado threat, and that continues to progress eastward through the Carolinas all through the overnight hours and reaches eventually the coastal plain as we move into the early morning hours on Monday. We'll also look at the helicity. This helps to tell us how much spin is in the atmosphere, if you will. And as we move through the overnight hours and into the afternoon hours on your Sunday, notice the amount of helicity that's moving in. That's just the spin, if you will. That is one of the things we look at to kind of figure out if there's that tornado threat, if you will. And there is a decent amount of helicity in the atmosphere as we move through on your Sunday and early Monday morning. As we also look at CAPE. CAPE is kind of thunderstorm energy, if you will. This is the fuel that's needed to produce those thunderstorms. And you don't need a lot of CAPE when you're in a high shear, high helicity type of environment to cause these severe thunderstorms. This wind shear is more than enough to cause a tornadic thunderstorm to develop and even have that severe weather threat. But when you add in this thunderstorm fuel, this CAPE, if you will, and as you can see, we're getting north of 1,000 joules of energy. That is really going to provide us a lot of energy that we will need to produce some of these severe storms. Now, if the CAPE is a little bit less, that might help to keep the storms just a little bit more tamed. But right now, models are showing a good amount of CAPE moving into the Carolinas, which will help to enhance that severe thunderstorm risk. This is the supercell composite. This shows the chance of supercell thunderstorms developing, and notice how that progresses right across the Carolinas. Yep, there's a good chance that we could see some very strong thunderstorms ahead of that main line that moves through. And some of these could be tornadic. This is the significant tornado parameter. And notice this is 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. And notice just how much energy is right over the Carolinas. And that significant tornado parameter is high. That is why the National Weather Service has issued this enhanced risk for us in the Carolinas. I would encourage everybody to be sure to become weather aware for tomorrow. Be sure to stay tuned to the National Weather Service, your local weather stations. Be tuned in with your cell phone, and just be sure to be prepared in the event that severe weather does impact your area, because it will come about quickly. These storms will quickly erupt in the afternoon hours, and they will become quite potent and quite strong. So just be weather aware tomorrow as this system passes by, and watch out, because we are expecting a decent chance of very damaging winds and large hail tomorrow, and also isolated tornadoes are expected across the southeast United States again for your Sunday. Be weather aware. I'm meteorologist Jordan Young.